Okay, so we're gonna try the float test here. Show you what the float test looks like. So you can see this really isn't quite double, but it's getting close to it. So I think by now we would have a pretty good indication of if this is going to be usable in bread. So I got a glass of water out here, and really any glass would have worked. You know, even just like a little juice glass or a pint glass, you know, a water glass, whatever. But you just want to have enough room so that what you take out of here and try to float can drop or float. So we're just going to use like a little half teaspoon or so. You can see kind of pulling that up. You can see the texture. There's nice little bubbles in here. And we're just going to drop it right in here and give it a test. Let's see what happens. Haha, how about that? It floats. So we can make bread with this baby, and it is ready to add to bread now. So I will go ahead and do that, and we will make bread from Sven, a very new little baby. So I'm going to make just our very first little, just one loaf, because there is only 200 grams in there, and I use 230 grams in my recipe. So I'm not going to show you all the stretch and folds because I've done that in another video, but I will show you how I put this together. And like I said, normally I would have started the flour and water first, but I figured since this guy's finally ready for the first time, we might as well, you know, use him and try to make bread and see how it turns out, if there's any difference in that to my older recipe. So 500 grams. And I've always wondered about this too, because people say they have like, you know, 300-year-old starter. And I always think, well, yeast, you know, no one strain of yeast is alive for 300 years. So is it really going to taste different? I feel like some of the yeast dies off and some of it activates. And, you know, over time, the yeast changes with the new location and everything. So I feel like it's not the same yeast that's been around for 300 years. So I've always been really curious about that point. So we'll see if this really tastes any different. We're gonna use him anyway. So I throw that puppy in there, tear that out. So we got our 500 grams of flour, and let's do our 375 grams of water. I like mine a little bit more hydrated. You can start at 325 if you're struggling with your the stretch and folds and it's moist. And besides, if it's moist, just make your hands wet. It doesn't really stick to wet hands, so it makes it a little bit easier. Oh, come on, so close. Good thing I'm in my kitchen. There we go, 376. Close enough. And got my stir. Actually, I'll wait until I get everything in it. I'll get my 15 grams of salt. Okay. And then I'll 130 grams of active starter. And we remember we determined it is active because it has passed the float test. So it's not going to leave a whole lot in the container, and that's okay. So I'll go ahead and give it a good feeding tomorrow. And I'll probably put it in the fridge to give it a little break. And then I'm going to decide whether or not I mix Sven into Olaf, or if I keep him separate, or, you know, maybe I've got a friend that wants a little starter. So, brand new baby. So we'll see. All right. Okay, so you can see there's very little left in the container, and I knew that, but that's okay because this is active good starter. So really, as long as you have a good couple tablespoons in there, you should be fine. There's actually more on the top. I don't know if you can see. So there is a good chunk of it all along the walls there. It'll be fine. I have taken my other one down that low, and it was just fine. So, all right, so that is all the ingredients. Remember, we're just 4 ingredients. Flour, water, salt. That's 3 ingredients. Not 4. I'm bad at math apparently. But the yeast gets in there naturally, so that's not something that we're adding. That's something nature is adding for us, which is pretty cool. You're making something out of literally just ingredients that by themselves you cannot sustain life with. But put these things together and you surely can. So anyway, that is it. That is my first combination, and I will be stretch and folding for the next 20 to 30 minutes, 5 to 7 times. And like I said, there's other videos on how to do the stretch and fold. So there we have it. And I will post the last picture of Sven when he's ready. Thanks. Bye.